part 2 of my baby mama going to prison for life and me getting custody of my daughter. So yeah, now my baby's like 3 years old, you know. I've been picking her up, you know, on the weekends or whatever. And, you know, sometimes I have problems with the baby mama because some weekends I'm not able to pick her. You know, I was managing an artist and, you know, we had prior engagements sometime and, you know, I needed her to cover in order to, you know, get a bag. Well, sometimes she would get upset and she would do the normal routine, block me, tell me I can't see my daughter and blase, whatever. So I was going through that off and on every so often or whatnot, you know. So then she calls me and she says, hey, you know, I'm not getting along with my family or my sisters, and me and Tatum are basically going to move to Oklahoma. So I'm like, Oklahoma? She like, yeah, I'm pregnant and I have a new boyfriend and he lives in Oklahoma. So she left and went to Oklahoma with this new guy, whatever. My only concern was my daughter. Like, how am I going to see her? When am I going to see her? How am I going to talk to her? All of that kind of stuff, you know. So the girl goes to Oklahoma, you know. Within 2 weeks of her being in Oklahoma, I get a call from a crazy number. She said, hey, this is Sarah, and this is my new number. I just wanted you to know that I changed my number. I said, why? Everything is okay? No, everything's not okay. This guy's crazy and blase. So I just left and got us a hotel room, me and my daughter. I'm like, what? I said, man, send my daughter back home, please. Send her ass right back. Or you can stay. Send her back. Now. Right? So she like, give me a day or two to try to figure some things out, you know, and I'll see what's up. A couple of days go by, so she calls me back and like, I guess we're coming back to LA, whatever. I don't have a ride. She's like, can you come pick us up? I said, yeah, I'll come pick you guys up. She's like, well, I'm taking a bus and the bus won't be there for 3 days. Now, mind you, I done moved on with my life. I'm in a new relationship. My girl is pregnant with my son. And shit, we're going through it. So I'm arguing with my girl. And then here comes Sarah calling, needing a ride at like 1 a.m. Of course I go because my daughter is with her, you know. Man, you talking about dysfunctional? So look, I go pick her up. Me and my son's mom, she's pregnant. We're going through it, arguing. She wants to talk. We're talking. So she rides with me. I don't have nothing to hide. I'm not dealing with Sarah at all. So come on, ride with me. Let's talk. You have my baby currently in your belly. And I'm going to pick up my baby, my 3-year-old. So come on, let's ride. Get to the bus station. Pick them up. So I got one baby mama in the front seat, smoking a black and mild. And I got one baby mama in the back seat, both of them pregnant, and a 3-year-old. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll tell you, boy. These two don't know each other. They never met. I try to introduce them. They don't want to speak. They both in their own little zone or whatever. Like I say, I got one smoking a black and mild. They both pregnant. It's like, come on, man. Anyway, drop them off at home, whatever. Continue about my business. So now that they're back here in California, we pick up where we left off and start my routine, picking up my daughter every weekend again. I end up buying my daughter a tablet I bought her a tablet because when she went to Oklahoma, there was no line of communication. I had to wait on her mama to call me, whatever. She dealing with male issues and drama and whatnot. So I couldn't really, trust that. So I had to get her own little communication where she could call daddy directly. So I bought her a tablet, an iPad, where she could FaceTime me. Boy, oh boy, did that girl learn how to use that iPad. Talk about FaceTiming at 3. Everybody in her call log every day. So it was one weekend, I think it was Memorial Day or Labor Day. I can't remember. But it was one weekend. I picked her up on a Friday, and I kept her an extra day. So I took her home Monday night. Took her home Monday night. I think one of her mother's sisters came out and grabbed her or whatnot or whatever. And, that was that. That next day was a Tuesday, right? I get a call early in the morning from my daughter, FaceTiming me. Daddy, you at work? I said, yeah, baby, why? What's up? What are you doing up so early? Like, where's your mom? Like, where are you at? Because from the looks of it, didn't look like you were at home. So she says, I'm at Miss Black house. I'm like, who the hell is Miss Black? Then you see some little lady pop out the side, like, hi, I'm Miss Black. I'm the next door neighbor. So I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, sometime I watch Tatum for, Sarah or whatnot. And, I'm like, where's she at now? She's like, well, the baby was keeping her up, so I told her I'll keep her so she could get some sleep because she had a long night last night. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, look, Miss Black. I said, I downloaded some apps on my baby's iPad so she could learn or whatever. I said, can you open one of those apps up and have her do some activities, instead of her calling everybody in her call log early in the morning? I said, people got to go to work. Like, she can't be calling people like that. Okay, I'll do it right now. 10 minutes later, my phone ringing. I know you're not having conversations with my neighbor about my daughter's education. I said, that's my daughter too. And I said, I absolutely was. I said, because she should be in school. And you don't have her ass in school yet. And I said, why is she not in school? Oh, it's not time for her to go to school. I said, why not? She's like, because she's not 5 yet. I said, oh my God. I said, it's called preschool or Head Start. Like, get her started early. Like, she's 3 years old. And then she says, don't worry about what I'm doing with my daughter. I raise her. She lives with me. You will never see her again, you BAN. And I'm like, and if you know what I mean, you know what the BAN is. She hung up in my face, and then she texted me and was like, you will never see your daughter again, you BAN. And when I tried to call her back, I was blocked. I was blocked on everything. So since I was blocked on everything, I gave it a week, try to let shit die down, still play my role. I went over there the following weekend, go pick up my daughter. I haven't talked to her, so I actually had to get out the car, walk up the stairs, knock on the door, and go try to retrieve my daughter. And this is where the drama kicks in. Well, it was already drama, but this is where it intensifies. So now I'm at the door, right? Knocking. Now, any other time I go to the door, the neighbor, Miss Black, yells out, you gotta knock hard because they can't hear it. Right? So I automatically go up there and I give it a little boom, 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 boom. I hear somebody, like, you could tell the screen is open. It's one of those screens metal screens where you could see out, but you can't see in. So I could hear somebody like, who banging on the door like that? And I'm like, it's I'm here for my daughter. Like, I'm like, where's Sarah? Sarah, where you at? Like, Sarah, come outside. So this girl come to the door. I'm thinking this one of Sarah's sisters. She like, don't be knocking on our door like that. She's like, I said, where my daughter? I want to see my daughter. She's like, Sarah in there. She's like, hold on. And then I hear Sarah say, what do you want? I'm like, I'm here to see my daughter. She's like, well, she's in the bathroom. I said, okay, I'm gonna wait till she get out. I want to see her. She like, no, you can't see her. And then the girl says, you better get away from our door. I'm like, what? And then Sarah says, yeah, you better get away from our door before I call somebody over here. I'm like, oh, y'all playing like that? So then she come out and she like, yeah, you don't know who I know around here. Mind you, we in Watts. So I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm out of here. So I got up out of here, right? Gave it a week again. So, I'm like, you know what? That's my daughter. I'm going to go try to get her again. Shit. Next weekend, went over there, went up the stairs, knocked on the door. Same girl came to the door. Oh, Sarah not here. She don't live here no more. I'm like, what? She don't live here no more. She's like, no, she moved. She moved to Barstow. I'm like, whatever. So I left. I'm like, all right, they playing. So I'm telling my people, like, what's going on, and one of my peoples, I don't know who it was, could have been one of my sisters. Somebody was like, you need to do yeah, they told me to get a welfare check. That's what it was. So I was like, what's a welfare check? It was like, that's when the people go out to the home and just check the well-being of whoever you have concerns about. I think it was my son's mom who told me that, to do that. Anyway, I did it, right? Get a call a couple of weeks later. The lady like, hey, I went out to the home. Sister came to the door. She said that they moved. I said, yeah, they moved to Barstow. She said, that's out of our jurisdiction. If she did move to Barstow, she was like, Barstow would have to take over and investigate. And she's like, then someone from Barstow would contact you. She's like, but on our side, we have to close the case because there's no one here to investigate. I was like, all right, fine. So that happened. And then a couple of weeks later, I get a call from San Bernardino County CPS. A lady named Miss Wanda called. And she was like, hey, sir, I found your daughter. She looks well. Everything is fine. She was like, a guy answered the door. I think it was your daughter's mom's husband, because she mentioned getting married. And everything looked fine. She's like, there's food in the refrigerator. Your daughter looked clean. I didn't get a chance to speak to her because she was asleep, and your daughter's mom was pregnant with a new baby, so I had to cut it short because she was kind of tired. I said, okay, fine, that's cool. I said, none of that's really my concern because I never really dealt with her like that. We never really had no real relationship like that, so that's fine, congratulations or whatnot. I said, but that does confirm that she's in Barstow. She said, I can't say that she's in Barstow or not. That's part of the privacy that we have with our clients, blase, or whatnot. But you have to go to family court to find out any further information. I said, you know what? Thank you. Have a good day.